So last class we have discussed about QA, QE, QC, and um, what is unit testing, right? So next, integration testing. Already I have explained this one, and let's see types of integration testing. There are two types of integration testing that we have, and it is very important for interview purpose. Incremental integration testing is mostly used, and non-incremental integration testing we are not used in anywhere. Just we have knowledge purpose just to know that. And incremental integration testing, see, incrementally adding the modules and testing the data flow between the modules. So we have one module A, for example. Here see, we have module A. Okay, they will integrate with another module B with A, right? So then they will check the communication between two modules. Again, we add one more module C and then check the communication between these modules. So keep an adding new modules with the existing modules and test the data flow and communication between these modules is called as incremental integration testing. So we don't integrate all the modules at once. We are integrate the modules one after another, which is called as incremental integration testing. Again, this incremental integration testing approaches are of two types. Okay. One is top-down approach and bottom-up approach. And sandwich or hybrid approach is the combination of top-down and bottom-up. Let us understand one by one what is top-down approach. And top-down approach and bottom-up approach is very, very, very important. So in every interview, they will ask the question, what is top-down and bottom-up approach? And top-down means incrementally adding the modules and testing the data flow between the modules and ensure the module added is the child of previous module. So what is the meaning? For example, um, we have a module A. So let's see this one. See, this is the, we have a module A, okay, and integrate with another module should be B. So the child of the existing module, okay, which one? The child of the existing module, that is called B module. So A is the parent one, B is the child one. For example, let us take Gmail application. So we have two modules like composing the email, and after this composing, the same email comes to sent items. Right. First, what we will do, composing email. Once this action is done, then next one comes to the sent items. Until unless composing the email, that email cannot come to the sent items. Right. Here before the sent items, we have to compose. So compose is the parent one, sent items is the child one. In top-down approach, we will check the data communication between these two modules and make sure the module whichever we have added should be the child of the existing module. If tomorrow you added the another module, for example, trash, okay? So trash, this is another child module. So see, compose, that is the top one and that is parent one. Sent items, so without compose, it will not go in sent box. If you delete the mail, it will go in trash. So it will interlink. Okay. So these three modules are interdependent and interlinked. So what we are saying that make sure should be this module whatever you added the chain module with which is connected with the existing module. Okay, that is called top down approach. And let us understand what is bottom up approach. This is top down, A, B, C, top to down. Okay, this is bottom up approach, incrementally adding the module and testing the data flow between the modules and ensure the module added is the parent of the previous module. So, parent of the previous module means what? Here, see, in top-down approach, we are seeing child of previous module, and bottom-up approach, here we are seeing parent of previous module. See the difference. So, added is the, whatever we added is the child of previous module. Whatever we added the module is the parent of previous module. So, you can see here what a bottom-up approach. Here, bottom to up. For example, if you take a Gmail, see, this is the top down. First compose, we check the compose and later we check the send box. And here first we check the send box. First we will go send box. If the send box is present, then that is already composed, right? If there is a send box, that means what? You have see, if you see already compose is there. Without compose, sandbox is nothing, right? So first start testing from sandbox. If we get this module, then we will integrate the parent module and combinedly we will test the module. We cannot test the independent module. Okay. We have to combine and test it. Until unless we cannot compose, we cannot test the sent items. First integrate the parent module. Okay. And do the testing. In top down, okay, we'll integrate the child module and do the testing. What is our ultimate goal? Ultimate goal is same. That is integration testing. But approaches is different. So there will be another approaches is called sandwich or hybrid approach. Okay, this is the combination of top down and bottom up approach. And these approaches comes under incremental integration testing. So next, non-incremental integration testing. So adding all the modules in a single shot and test the data flow between the modules. So most of the time, we don't perfect this one because it has three drawbacks. Okay. So we can say here two drawbacks. So I will say like three. We might, what is the first one? We might miss data flow between some of the modules. Suppose we do incremental integration testing like 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are less chances to miss the particular module. But here we integrate all the modules in a single shot. So while testing, we may miss some modules in between. And if you find, so if you find any defect, we cannot understand the root cause of defect. So it is very difficult to find out the defect belongs to which module because we integrate all the modules at once, right? So it is very difficult to find out the defect. Okay. And it is very difficult to understand the root cause of defect because of two drawbacks. We don't prefer this. Okay. So that's why it is non-incremental integration testing and that is not important. We are not using anywhere and we are not part of this also. Okay. And let's understand, let me discuss what is the system testing and it is very important. And see, testing overall functionality of the application with respect to client requirements. Here mainly focus on functionalities. Okay. Functionalities of the application. What is the meaning of functionalities? In my application, so and so should be there and they will give some requirement. Okay. As a tester, what you will do is the requirement is present in the software or not. The requirement is working properly or not. The requirement functionalities is working properly or not. What is the meaning of functionality? Functionality is nothing but same, some future of a application. Okay. For example, if you take a WhatsApp, what features and functionalities we have? We can add the contact, we can send the message, we can send the images, videos, we can share the location map. So these are all different features of WhatsApp, right?
Hmm.
Similarly, every software, every application having different number of features. So in the system testing, we are going to test those features. So we are test the code, we are test the functional uh, features with respect to the client requirement. So whether it is working according to the client requirement or not. So that is the main intention of system testing. It is a black box testing technique. So because we are not going to test the code, we are getting the UI part, user interface. That application when install it by developer and completely test it. So this is conducted by the testing team. Because here we have to know the requirement, that is the main thing, and have to thoroughly understand the requirement, flows and UI. So that's more important. No need to understand the code, what is created by developer. So after completion of components and integration level testing, we start system testing. So the hierarchy of unit after integration and after that system testing. So until unless those testings are completed, we cannot get the build or application by the developer. Then we will start the system testing. So before conducting the testing, we should know the requirement. We will have different documents provided by the customers, designers, developers, development, whatever. We will read. We will read those documents and understand clearly. Then only we can conduct the testing. So system testing mainly focusing on below areas like see user interface testing, functional testing, non-functional testing, usability testing. Okay, so these four categories are going to conduct, and let's see. So before conducting the testing, we have to know what kind of testing we have to do. If you know that, if you know what I mean, then the next level is how. If you know first what it is, and the next question is how. If you know what type of testing should be conducted, then the next level, how to conduct those testings. Okay. So system testing focus on mainly these four areas. So one is user interface testing, functional testing, non-functional testing, usability testing. So first, let us understand user interface testing. It means graphical user interface application. For example, you can take Amazon.com. If you open the Amazon.com, you will see first a UI part, right? Whatever we have seen, that is UI part. So what is UI test on the UI part? So you are going to test all the images are aligned or not, logo display or not, application elements, check boxes, text boxes, drop downs, look and feel the application, colors and fonts. These things are mainly focused. So that is called UI testing. And each and every flow is properly working or not, navigating between the pages or not. So these things comes under UI testing. So next to functional testing, we are going to test the functionality of the application. It means the navigation is about actual functionality. For example, if you take a banking application, so first he tests the login, that is one functionality. We will test the balance, another functionality. We will test the money is transferred or not. That is another functionality. Add payment, that is another one. Generating statement, that is another one. Request to checkbook, that is also another one. So there are number of functionalities, right, in a banking application. Once the application is there, there are a lot of main functionalities. So we are going to test those functionalities that working properly or not, and that comes under functional testing. So we have input domain testing. Like here, if you take no, this one. So these are number of properties like we have input domain testing, error handling testing, database testing. So different types of testings will be there under functional testing. So we will discuss in upcoming sessions. So let us see first. We will understand what is that. So next, non-functional testing. So it is like security testing, like performance testing, installation testing, compatibility testing. So these are all comes under non-functional testing. So once the functionality is stable, then we will start doing non-functional testing. If the functionality is perfectly working fine, then the performance is going to be tested. Performance means what? It means the speed of the application, and that comes under non-functional. Suppose the application is accessing by n number of people through internet, and you are checking the speed of application, how well your application is responding to the users, That is the speed of the application, right? But before testing, we have to test the functionality is stable or not. That is very important. And then non-functional testing will start. So we test the performance in this again, load, volume, compatibility, security. So that there are different type of testings will be there, and that comes under non-functional testing. And in the real environment, there will be a separate environment will be there to conduct a non-functional testing. And this is not done by the normal functional testers. There are separate dedicated team will be there to conduct a non-functional testing because that needs a different set of environment. So normally environment will not be sufficient to conduct a non-functional. So experts will be there. Security testing, performance testing, these type of testings are very huge testings and lot of expertise to conduct those testings. Especially the special category team will be there. In that team, they will take care of those testings. Okay. And finally, we have usability testing. So it means user experiment testing. Suppose we brought some product like mobile, bike, car, anything. Along of those products, we will get some documents, right? So user manual documents. It contains how to use the product. That document is required for the user. So along with the software, they require user manual document to the user, right? We have to test the document have proper content or not. How to install the product, how to perform the functionality. Each and every step, whatever we do in the application will be documented. Sometimes in your application, you will see some menu at the corner. If you open the notepad, whatever we can see, help menu, there we can get the help of particular product. And those things we are going to focus, and that comes under usability testing. It means user friendly application. Okay, got it, guys?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah,
non-functional testing, is it
non-functional test.
yeah, is it dedicated to performance testing, security testing, cloud testing, or like apart from
Yeah,
functional?
apart from functional, see if you see, I will show non-functional testing. What see under non-functional testing, these testings comes under this. Okay, this is
Mhm.
related to non-functional testing, and under functional testing, you will see this one database testing, error handling testing, calculation testing, everything under you will see under functional testing. Okay,
Mhm.
got it, Akash?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. There is one more testing, like if there is some special person or a disabled person or something. I don't know the name of the testing. I think is it a usability testing, ma'am, where special uh, kind of requirement are put, like regional languages, symbols, or something, like generally apart from a normal testing, uh, wherever there is a special requirement, what we called it, like is it comes under usability testing?
A special requirement usability, I mean, if it is related to user experiment, okay, what we are using. So, like I will see, it depends on requirement. If it is comes under experiment side, then it comes under usability. If it is comes under like UI related something requirement, it comes under GUI testing. And it is something like it's if it is requirement is related to something performance, load, stress. So it is comes under non-functional. So it completely depends on a requirement what they are giving. And
Okay,
special
okay.
requirement which see sometimes we get the related special requirements with UI. You mostly we get UI testing related things. Okay, so new things will upgrade it, right? Whatever we are seeing the
Mhm.
applications, every time we get a new requirements. Clients will give, no, this color is not there. I mean, this color is not okay, and this font will be something different, and this image alignment is something is they want different types of features.
Mhm.
And usability testing is kind of completely after installation, right? What we are getting. So that kind of things are usability testing. Okay.
Sorry, I forget. I was mentioning accessibility testing. I think it is a part of usability testing. Some oh
Accessibility. Yeah,
yeah.
accessibility is
Mhm.
coming. I mean, it's from usability testing only because it's access, right? After installation, we are trying to access for that. So that is comes under usability one.
Okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mm. So, so this is the exact area we have mainly focused on. What is system technique? Again, what are the different types of testing we will conduct as part of the system testing? Let us understand what is first system testing. Okay. System testing means we are going to test the overall functionality of the application as per the client requirement. And when we have conducted testing, so after completion of integration testing, so we will conduct the system testing, and there is separate environment that we have, that is QA QC testing environment. We have to set up our own environment where we conduct the system testing. So it is not a developer environment. The second thing is that environment we can exactly replicate the hardware and software requirement. So customer using some kind of environment like machines or software in their environment, and the same kind of environment replicating in our company. That environment test our software. So system testing is nothing but testing the system, testing the software, or you can say product, application. So whatever you can call as per the client requirement. So we are mainly focusing on four different areas: GUI testing, usability testing, functional testing, non-functional testing. In these four categories, mainly focusing on functional testing part. And non-functional testing is a huge kind of testing. There is a separate environment required. So separate skills is required, like performance, security, load, recovery, and so on. Okay. So first, let's see what is GUI testing. Okay. Whenever use some application where exactly interacting with, you are interacting with UI. Okay. You will browse some application, you will get some screen. What you can see on the screen? See, I mean, some text boxes, check boxes, drop down, radio buttons, and also you will see some text scroll bars. So these are the different things you can see on UI. So these are basically called as elements. Elements is nothing but objects. Here mainly focusing on UI application. Every application is having two different parts. One is front end and second one is back end. So front end means the user will interact with application through front end. So actual operations will be done in the back end. As a user, I can't see anything, right? What exactly happening in the backend. For example, if you log into internet banking application with a valid username and valid password, once you log in, you will see all the details and everything. But where exactly the data is coming from? The exact data is stored in somewhere in the servers or in the databases, right? From there, you are getting the data and which is presenting on the UI. And then you will able to see the data. So that is called front end part. But actual data will be stored in the back end. Even testing can be done in two different ways: front end and back end testing. So here, the graphical user testing mainly focusing on front end part, where the user interact with application, or we can say UI part. So the definition is graphical user interface is a process of testing the user interface of an application. And a graphical user interface includes all the elements such as menu, checkbox, button, color, font, sizes, icons, and so on. So our main focus on UI part, not exactly on functionality. It means it is a little different again. It is a working process, but here we are checking the elements. What are there in the application? This is simply called graphical user interface testing. And what exactly we test as part of graphical user interface? This is the checklist. Okay. So, so before testing application, after understanding the requirement, you prepare some kind of checklist. Normally, we prepared in the Excel file, and then we will check every item that we tested or not in the application. So let us see what we have in the checklist. Here, main focusing on look and feel of the application, how application looks, and how it is attractive. Okay. So because if the application is more attractive, then only user attract with application, right? And it should have a color, font, good images, should be clarity. So main focus on UI application. So let us see what exactly we do. First one, what is that? Testing the size, position, width, height of the elements. So let us say I have a small image or logo and something is placed on my UI part, and even text area box, drop down, whatever the element you have in the UI, every element should have some size, every element should have some position, right? Where exactly the element is placed, and width, height of the element should be verified. So that is one option. But where we will get this info? How you will know? Because we are comparing with actual requirements. We also have design documents according to functional requirement documents, FRS document. Remember? So we should also keep the design documents, and in that they exactly specify in the UI level. They will give us something called wireframes. Wireframes means dummy screens. Okay. So before developing the application, they will draw the pictures of the screen. We can say mock pictures. So technical term is wireframes. And by seeing those pictures, they will also give the actual size, position, height, width. By seeing them, we prepared some test cases, and then we compare exactly the size, height, width of the element in the application. So that is the input for us. We should not decide our own. Okay. So second point, testing of the error messages that are getting displayed. It means whenever you do some kind of invalid actions, suppose there is a text box and it is allowing 8 characters. Okay. And entering more than 8 characters or entering special characters, and that element display the error message. So those type of message we have to validate. And third one, testing the different sections of the screen. So different sections means if you have a logo, that is one section, elements, that is one section, header, that is another one, footer, that is another one. So all these things we need to verify. And fourth point, testing of the font, whether it is readable or not. So in some application, we can't read the font properly. If you notice, some applications it's not proper, and that should be readable. Okay. As a user should understand the font. The type of font have to be checked. The size of the font, heading should be some font in some size, right? The body of the text, body of the page, so should be having size, or some text appears in different colors like links, main object. So these things we have to be verified. And fifth one, testing of the screen in different resolutions with the help of zooming in and zooming out. Normally, when I open the screen, I can zoom in and zoom out, right? Even the UI web applications, we can increase the size of the UI and also zoom out. We can compress the UI. And in both the cases, elements and images, whatever we placed in the UI, should not be overlapped. So wherever and whichever the position they are, after zoom in and zoom out, the element should be in the same position and not be overlapped. And what is the sixth point? Testing the alignment of the text and other elements like icons, buttons, etc. are in proper place or not. So sometimes we see text messages and some icons will be placed on the UI and buttons, right? These elements should be placed on the UI and in exact position. For example, as per the requirement, login is placed in the right side of the screen or top of the screen, okay? But developer plays login placed in left side of the screen. Even that also considered as a bug. According to the requirement, wherever we are expecting that element should be there and should be there in the same position. Okay. Seventh one, testing the colors of the fonts. So this is also important thing because colors will attract the users. We have to use proper colors. So most of the time we should avoid red and some colors which are very, very like our eyes consider as a dangerous colors. Our web page should look very cool and clean, and that type of fonts we have to check. And this is also our part of the design, what kind of colors we have to use. So normal text colors in one color, links will be in another color, headings will be in another color. So we have to focus on color of the fonts also. What is the next point? Testing whether the image has good clarity or not. So sometimes images placed in the UI, especially logos. So those images should have clarity. So it have some pixel, right? So the clarity of the image should be there, and it should not like blur or anything. It should be very clear. Next one, uh, testing the alignment of the images. So image of the alignment should have verified that where the images should have placed, that also need to be verified according to the requirement and design. And what is the next point? Testing of the spelling. So there will be some text. We should also focus all text is properly written or not. Not should be spelling mistakes. That also be verified as part of UI testing. And next one, the user must not get frustrated while using the system interface. As I said, the first interface is UI part, where user will use it. So user should attract with the application. We should not frustrated by seeing the font or color or size, anything. So first priority will queue to the UI because the user will interact with UI only. If UI is ugly, next time the user will not use it. It should be very clear and cool fonts will be used. That have to make sure while testing of UI. And next point, testing whether the interface is attractive or not. So interface means UI, and testing of the scroll bar according to the size of the page is if any. So sometimes if the page is very small and having small content, and the scroll bar it will not appear. As soon as you are increasing the content of the web page, the scroll bar will come like horizontal and vertical scroll bars. So once we're scrolling the page, bottom or up, you can see all the content of the web page. Here, we test the scroll bar are properly working or not according to the size of the page. And next one, testing of the disable fields if any. Disable fields means what it means. Suppose the text box is there and in that it is disabled. Disable means we can't enter the data into the text box. Suppose there is a name field. In that we have to provide our name. If the text box is in disabled state, we cannot provide the name. So texting the disabled field that we have to test. And this comes under sometimes GUI and sometimes functional also. So object property, we have to be verified. And next one, testing the size of the images. Whenever you place some image, the size is also important. What kind of size it is, how much size it is, that we have to verify. So size in the sense, the appearance, how much width and length it is, that is one size. Another one is size means 1 KB, 2 KB, 10 KB. So this is the actual size. Images should not have huge size while browsing the application. The loading will be very slow. The performance will be impacted. So always make sure the image is having less size. At the same time, the image should be very clear, and these things we are mainly focused on the UI. For example, if you while uploading the image in somewhere, if you go WhatsApp, Facebook, okay, suppose one image is 10 KB. If size is huge, they restricted and they are not allowing the image for uploading the image, right? So I think that scenario also you will face in your daily basis. And next point is testing of the headings whether it is properly aligned or not. Normally, heading will be starting of the page or right side or left side of the page. That should be the bigger size. We have to verify that. And next, testing of the color of the hyperlink. So especially we have to take care of the hyperlink. So hyperlink means links. So when I click the hyperlink, which will be navigating to some other page. Before clicking on the link, it should appearing in one color. And after clicking on it, it should turn in another color. I think you may observe this kind of things while Google it. It should be in different fonts in different color. Once you click on it, it turn in another color. For example, Google links, first you click on it, it will blue color and enter into that. When you back and see it, it should turn in another color. Basically, it is saying that link should be already clicked. The color of the hyperlinks we need to verify. Okay. And um, so basically, it is saying that link should be already clicked. Okay. And hyperlinks, and that hyperlinks also we need to verify that. And just if you have any doubts, just Google it. Okay. And 18. So this is the last point. Testing UI elements like button, text box area, text area, checkbox, radio button, drop down links. So text, what is the differences between text box and text area? So in text box, we just provide a small text. Whereas in text area, we just pass a huge text like the address of you and of anyone. It contains a lot of things. Okay. And checkboxes. Checkboxes you can see male or female, right? You can select only one, that is checkboxes. And radio buttons you will see in somewhere application um, when you using Gmail application a very first time, then um, agree disagree. Okay, these are the radio buttons. We can select only one option. And drop downs, country drop downs, you can see anywhere in a application. Generally, we are seeing countries drop down. I can select only one country, right? So our main intention is on UI elements. So these are all different things we have to text as part of GUI testing. And for that, we have to prepare to the checklist like this. Then we will test it and update the checklist. And next, usability testing. So usability means easiness of the application. Suppose if we provide some application to the user, they should able to use the application very easily or easy manner. It should not be complex. What we will focus here? Every application, you may see something called help menu will be there at the corner, right? And why we provide that? Suppose user stuck somewhere and user not able to do it something, you can refer the help menu. Go to help menu and type the question and you will get the answer, right? And then you can do the action. That is type of a help we provide to the user about application and that we have to verify. And what is the definition? During the testing, validates application provided context sensitive help or not to the user. So which is also called as context sensitive help testing. For example, if you take a Windows, press F1 or F2, it will give help menu. I just here press F1. Sorry. See, I will get this help menu. Just there is a button functional place, function place F1. Okay. You will get the help menu. So whatever you type the question, it will give the related answers. That is a context sensitive help. For example, if you take a mobile, car, bike, you can get help menu. It should be very simple English and that should understandable the user. By taking that help menu, they can do it by own. That should be like this. So check how easily the end users are able to understand and operate the application is called usability testing. So help menu is in the format of PDF or document or hard copy, soft copy. So main role in this usability testing, developers is the main role. So they can make it complex or simple. So our responsibility is to test whether the easy or not. If it is complex, if it is not comfort to understand, we can assign to developer for simplify that. Okay, got it, guys?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
So next to functional testing, I will explain few of these things. So functional testing means this is the main part that we have to focus mainly. So graphical user interface, usability will do as part of GUI. As part of this, we mainly focus on functional testing. So first, what is functionality? Let us understand the behavior of the application, how the software is behaving, whether it is working or not as per the requirement, that is functionality. For example, If you take a Gmail application, there is a the login screen. That is one functionality. Composing, that is another functionality. Sent to box, that is another one. Deleted items, I mean trash box, that is another one. So while composing, you can say CC BCC1. So that is also one functionality. If you take any application, there will be some functionality, right? We are going to test that, not focusing on UI element, just focusing on functional elements. For example, there is a text box in the GUI testing. So text box in GUI testing, what we are test, it is aligned or not. Size of the text box, length of the text box, width of the text box, right? And once you come to the functionality, we are going to test more on that, which is accepting the characters properly or not. So there will be some validations that we have to do. So first, if you see a login username, there is a text box, right? As part of the requirement, username allowed 8 characters, and it should contain uppercase, one number, one special character. That is our requirement. And accordingly, we prepare some test data, and we are verifying that test data is allowing or not, right? So what is the definition? Functionality is nothing but behavior of the application. And functional testing talks about how your feature should work. So functional means something it should work according to the requirement. As part of the functional testing, like what kind of testing we have to conduct and where exactly we have to focus. Okay. So let us see. There is a properties. First one, object properties testing. So object means what? Something an element. Element means you can take buttons, text box, check boxes, logo, anything. So what we have to verify here? Every element on your web page is having certain number of properties. And what is that? Let us say small text box I have. And what are the properties of this text box? The text box can be enabled and can be disabled. Is it there? Hmm. See here. So you can see here, I have a small text box. I have what are the properties of this text box? Enable, disable, right? So if the text box is enabled, we can provide the text. And if the text box is disabled, I cannot enter the text. Enable, disable is the attributes or we can say properties. So similarly, there are radio buttons like female, male. At a time, we can select only one radio button, either male or female. So this is a radio button group. So we can select only one at a time, and that is called properties. Enable or not, disable or not. If I select a male button, female will be disabled. If I select a female button, male will be disabled. So similarly, drop down menu, okay, there are multiple items will be there. So if I click on this, it will show different options will be displayed. But at a time, we can select only one option in this. So there are list of countries. Okay. And sometimes we have list boxes. In that case, we can select multiple. Here we have, see, multiple elements displayed and we can select more than one element. Here display all the elements. So these are all different properties. So another example I will give. When I enter the here login screen, right, there is a username and password. When I enter the username, immediately the cursor goes to the next text box. That is a password. So this is called focus attribute, or we can say focus property. So these kind of things we have to verify. Every property, whatever you can see on the page, is having certain number of property. So those properties we have to verify as part of object properties testing. So now you can see what object properties testing. Check the properties of objects present on the application, right? So what is that? Enable, disable, visible, focus, etc. And next, database testing or backend testing. So this is another major area that we have to test. Here we need to know SQL knowledge. I mean, we need to know some basic SQL commands, which are very, very important for this database testing. And database testing is a huge kind of testing, and it is not a simple testing. And here, as a functional tester, we can do some basic data testing like functionality level. But internally, we have to do a lot of testings under database testing. So we have a separate and skill testers we required to perform this database testing. So what exactly we do? Database is a storage area, okay, where exactly the data will be stored, and that comes under backend part. We can say this is a backend testing. So as a tester, we mainly focus on DML operations. DML operations mean data manipulation language. When I say database, let me tell you what exactly it is. Every software have two different layers. What is that? Front end, back end. Backend is nothing but database where exactly the data will be stored, and we are browsing the data from the UI. Now in database testing, we are mainly focused on backend. So let us say UI application. User is always interact here, right? I will show the example. See here, there is a user. User always interact with the UI, and the backend or something. We are something called database. So this will be located in somewhere remote locations. Actually, the data stored in the database. Now, whatever we are browsing in the UI, it will send to the database and will getting the data from the database, right? But as a user, I cannot the database. I cannot use the database, right? In database testing, we are mainly focused on particular database component. Now, in database testing, there are two things, black box and white box, and both are will be there. We can say functional testing and non-functional testing. So as a functional tester, what you will do is here in the UI side, you will set up certain operations like inserting the data, submitting the data, updating the data, deleting the data, selecting the data. Those are basic DML operations, right? When I do this operation from the UI, those operations are properly working at the database level or not. So that we are going to verify as part of database testing. At the beginning level, so actual the data will be stored in the form of tables. We have different tables. I'm browsing the employee table, for example. I'm browsing the employee table. I want to add one new employee in my database through UI. So where exactly the employee data will be stored in the employee table? So there will be a table, and inside the data will be stored, right? Suppose I want to get the details of employee on the UI, and I will send the employee ID to the database through UI, and I will get back the data from this table. And I want to update the details of the employee. So I can get the data from the table and update the data and resend it. And I want to delete the record from the table. So I can simply perform the delete action. That record will be deleted from the table. So these operations we are going to perform from the UI, and whenever do some action or operations and the database tables will be affected. When I submit the data will be inserted in the table. When I update the data will be updated or modified. When I delete the data will be deleted from the table. When I retrieve or select the data is coming from the table and present on the UI. Okay. So are the basic operations that working or not that we are going to test as part of database testing. So they are called DML operations, and it is in SQL. SQL means we can see insert, update, delete, select commands. So that we are going to use these commands to perform this testing. So whatever operations we are doing from the UI that are affecting the table on the database or not, that we are going to verify. The communication between the UI and database is working or not, that we are also going to test as part of UI testing. So as a beginner, mainly focus on DML operations. In the database testing, we are sending the data, updating the data, deleting the data from the UI. This is one testing. Another side, we are logging into the database and we are executing certain number of queries, that is SQL queries, to retrieve or see the data from the table. So what exactly we are doing is, from the UI, we are doing black box testing because we don't know the coding, right? We are just sending the data, and in the backend, login into the database, we are writing some queries here to check this data. And that comes under white box part. So that database testing include both black box and white box. If combine these two, we call gray box testing technique. And you can ask me, what is black box and white box? So if you interviewer, they will ask you, can you give me some example of gray box? So do you have something called gray box testing? So you should say yes. We have something called gray box testing. Database testing is the example of gray box. So initial level, we have to do this much. Okay. Apart from this, there will be a lot of things that we test, but there should be dedicated skill testers to perform in detail database testing. So as a tester, you have to know the SQL. That is mandatory should have if you are doing any database testing. And in interviewers, they will ask you some SQL queries, at least basic level. Apart from this, what else that we test on database means, I mean, in database, we are validating the table level, like how many columns that we have in a table, what kind of data that we can insert in a table, size of a column, number of rows are available, number of fields are available. There are multiple tables sometimes we have, and whatever submit the data in the UI, that will be stored in the multiple tables. Okay. So here there is an employee table and department table, right? And connection will be there or relation will be there. So that relation we have to verify. And also we are also verified like functions, triggers, so procedures. There are number of commands. And if you want to verify these things, you need to know in depth of SQL and PL/SQL. PL means procedure language. If you these two things you can perform in depth database testing. Okay. And apart from this, internally in the table or database, we have to test lot of things. And sometimes there is a views, index, cursor, and so on. There are database related concepts. Okay, like a table level validations like column type, column type, column length. So number of things are there. If we're talking about this database testing in depth, it will go on, go on, go on. So after that, relation between the tables. Okay, these things we have to focus when we do in detail database testing, and that comes under white box testing part. Okay. And if you see the definition database testing, so checking database operations with respect to user operations. Okay, with respect to UI part. And next one, error handling testing. So I will stop this. I will say this one. So from tomorrow, I'll continue with you. So error handling testing means it mainly focus on error messages. For example, if you're working on UI part, when doing invalid action, okay, the application should display some image, some message to the user on the UI, right? If you are using a Gmail application, there is a login. This one is most important while testing. It is mainly focuses verifying the error messages on the UI. See the definition. Testers verify the error message while performing incorrect actions on the application. Okay. So what is that meaning? The error message should be readable or understandable. It should be the simple language that also we have to check. Okay. So if your login screen, if you entered username and password, first you mention valid username and invalid password. So it will display error message, right? Uh, I will write one thing. So for example, you entered invalid. Sorry, I'm not writing.
Yes.
You entered invalid username and valid password. So so after that, it will not allow and it will display error message. So what is that errors? I will show one thing. One is incorrect data. Next, invalid user. Which one is clear? If you entered invalid username and valid password, there are two types of errors. Incorrect data and invalid user. Which one is clear and which one is understandable?
That's invalid user.
Yeah. Right. Invalid user. If you say that error message invalid user means, okay, I entered invalid user name. If they give a message like incorrect data, how we will know which one is correct, which one is incorrect? That will be confused, right? So that's why error messages should be very clear, should be readable, and should be understandable, and it should be in simple language. That will be that also we have to check, and that also we have to verify that, right?
Yes.
So next we will see in the next session calculations or manipulation testing, links existence, links execution, cookies and sessions, and next we will see non-functional testings. Okay, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, got it. Do you have any doubts?
Yes, ma'am. Some doubts I have. Are we first question is like, are we covering black box testing types like equivalence class partitioning, boundary value analysis,
Yeah,
stress
of
transitioning
course.
type?
In the upcoming sessions, we will see ECP, BVA, everything.
Yeah,
That
sometimes
concepts also involved in.
I got
Yeah, sorry.
questions like, can you please explain me about equivalence class transitioning with an example on your organization? I gave, but
Yeah,
were not sufficient. But I thought like to ask the types of black box testing.
so
This
you
is my
want me to
first question.
explain today only, today
No, no,
itself?
no, no. Just I no, no, ma'am. I was just asking like, are we covering that?
Yeah, of course. I'm covering that concepts also. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever you have said with
my main
examples.
doubt was. Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That was one question. Second out was like related to TOSCA. So while when we start TOSCA session, so are we practicing like teaching and practicing at the same time, like wherever you will guide us and we'll just perform it parallelly along with teaching, or like how it will go?
Okay. It will go parallelly. So in the session, you will see a practical sessions, whatever. So after that, you have to practice on that. You have to complete at one, I mean, at a time only. So
In
whatever
during
we
the
have,
session.
not during the session, you have to see whatever I have explained and what we have discussed. First, you
Mhm.
have to see, okay, what I'm doing, and next, uh, you installed in your local, I mean, your local machine, the Tosca tool, okay, and next, whatever we have discussed, right, you have to practice on that, and I will give the assignment, and you should complete it,
Mhm. Sure. Yeah.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. So in TOSCA, we also do database testing, ma'am. Like we do manually, likewise.
So database testing is kind of not involved in Tosca. So database is kind of something different that it's very huge testing, and we are not. I mean, database testing we don't have any access on that, right? So we are just is simply using uh, single user workspace, right? We are
UI.
not working with multiple users, and we are not in a project, right? So
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
why we don't have access, and that we are not using that database.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I will
And
explain. If you connect with the database, what we will do and what the things we have to do. So that will also explain.
yeah, recently I got to know that maybe Excel, like just we do in Selenium, Excel testing where we fetch the data from the sheet. So that we can do at least using Tosca. I,
Yeah, yeah. Excel file we pull the data from Excel. Okay, we compare the Excel and PDF also. Okay, we will
okay.
compare two PDFs. Okay, reference
Mhm.
PDF and target PDF. So we will
Yeah.
take both and we will compare how we will test by using Tosca tool.
Okay. And any project we're covering, any small demo project or something like we can explain it while interview or something.
So project means, see, I will take applications only. It is a very, I mean, live project. Okay. So we are not taking any theoretical part here. So once we started TOSCA, right, you can see only practical, and you just entered from day one. Um, you can see a project only. Okay. So that is um, what I mean. So it is it is
Hands
a
on.
live. Okay. Yeah, it is a live one.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Any queries?
No, no, that only.
Clear?
Yes, clear.
Surender?
Yeah, yes, I'm clear.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And guys, did you enroll?
Ma'am, I'll enroll today or tomorrow maybe. Mostly tomorrow I'll enroll.
Okay. Just update me, Akash.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
Once you enroll. And Surender, what about you?
Yeah, I'm asking 2 days time.
Okay. And Akash, Surender, please update me after you please enroll. Okay. So
Yeah, okay,
because,
sure.
yeah. So after you enroll, you get all the access, right? Documents, live session videos, everything you will get it. Okay. So after that only you can get sign up in a e-tech channel, and you will get the all unlisted videos. So that is also important for you guys. And once we started Tosca tool, right? So you will not have enough time to practice it. So once see, first we covered a live session video. After that, you have to practice on that whatever we have discussed scenarios, and you have to complete the assignments also. You have to complete the whatever scenarios what I have explained. So both of things you have to cover it. If you're missing, if you're lagging your practice, right, it will impact on you only, guys. Okay. I will cover each and everything on a day-to-day basis. That is not the thing, big thing for me. But you have to practice and you have to take serious on that. So was
Yes.
firstly, it is very, you will see like it is very basic. And when you start, right, in between of the sessions, you will think like somewhere you will think like okay, it is advanced and it is very some kind of difficult. So you have to understand, right? If you do practice well, then only you can understand what is the scenarios and what I mean what I'm explaining. You will understandable. Okay. And previous batch also, firstly they will take light. Okay.
Mhm.
And after that they faced difficult things. Okay. And after that, I mean, if you do practicing like that day to day basis, then only you can understand what is the next scenario what I have explained. So
Okay.
just don't take light. I'm requesting you again and again. And once sessions is over, then you get a realize after that I should have practiced that. So if you miss that practice, then you just go back and you have to refer live session videos again, and you have to practice it, and that is very, that can also be tiresome for you, right? It is
Yes.
repeated one, it is a repeated things. Okay. I hope you understand.
So, yes, sir. So, ma'am, I got enrolled in a project. So, from maybe January onwards, they will start. So, I'm little
In
bit
December only.
confused. Like,
Okay.
hmm?
In December only I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay. So after 25th, okay, whatever, if these manual testings are incomplete also, okay, after that also I'll start TOSCA. I'll enter into directly TOSCA. Is it okay for you?
Yes, ma'am. It's absolutely okay.
Yeah. Just give me the 25th. Okay. Whatever we have not covered, we will cover in the last sessions after TOSCA. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Akash?
Yes, ma'am. Sure. It is okay.
Yeah. Up to that, I will try to cover all these things. If it is not covering, then we will cover in the last sessions after TOSCA. And after 25th, we will start TOSCA because everyone I'm seeing everyone interested in TOSCA. So first, after 25th, we will start TOSCA testing, and after that sessions, we will start manual testing where we stopped. Okay, from that only we can start the topics and covered everything.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Surinder, is it okay for you?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Then see you tomorrow. Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone. And see you tomorrow. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.